friends, it's Katie and welcome back, or if you're new, hi, it's nice to have you here. Please subscribe. Welcome to my Vlogmas series, and today I'm doing a little bit of a sit down video which I'm super excited to talk about because this is something that I wish I had been told before starting university or even earlier in my university career. So today's video is going to kind of be like a letter to myself in my past years of university and something that I wish people had explained to me. I've done one of these before, which was a what I wish I knew before I started university. It's done super well on my channel and I still get a lot of comments of people saying that it was super helpful and things that they just like were experiencing in the moment. So if you want to see that video at all, I'll have it linked down below or up here in the cards. It's one of my favorite videos I've created. And it was super personal. I guess we're just going to dive on in. If you're watching this right when it's posted, it is the end of the first semester of the year. If you're new to university, congrats on surviving your first semester. I remember this time feeling so difficult and so overwhelming because I was walking into my first exams, which I had no idea what to expect, and mainly everything was multiple choice, and that was overwhelming in itself because in high school, tests just aren't like that. It was a completely different ballgame. Even in my later years, I just know this time of year is so stressful because you're so overwhelmed by the end of the semester. You just finished a million projects and you feel like you need to catch a break. And you can't really catch a break because now you're diving into exams. And like even right now, I'm in my last semester ever. And I have 3 exams starting this week, and 3 is the least amount of exams I've ever had to take. I've always taken 5 or 6. So this year feels completely different, and it's so hard because you are already losing motivation because you've been so overwhelmed and you don't know what is too much studying, you don't know what's enough, and sometimes you don't know the testing styles. And I just want to say, if you're in this boat right now, I'm crossing my fingers for you, and you land on your feet, you'll figure it out. Everyone does. But that's not really what I want to focus on in today's video. Today's video, I want to talk about your happiness in university. So as I've made it very public on my channel, I have had a very love-hate relationship with university. I have found it to be extremely difficult. The program I'm in, it's called Graphic Communications Management. It's at Ryerson University in Toronto, and I'm in my 5th year. I'm just about done. But I have really struggled with this program because I have not found really any happiness in it. It has been a program that I have been bored to death in. I am creatively stifled, and I had a really hard time making friends in the beginning. Thank God that's been sorted out, but it was really difficult. And it's really hard when school is taking up a lot of your social life and a lot of your time. You're doing projects and going to classes that you're just unmotivated and unhappy in. It's so freaking difficult. It's like in high school, how I never understood how people didn't like school in high school because yes, there was classes I didn't like, but for the most part, I really enjoyed learning. And when I got to university, it was so difficult because I really wasn't enjoying what I was learning. And when I finished my first year, I remember telling people that I really didn't like it. I remember even having just telling people I really didn't like it. And people are like, well, why don't you switch? And I'm like, oh, well, I'm already like a 4th of the way through. I might as well finish it. And I think I'll like the job I get in the end. And I think there'll be things that I like in upcoming years. And honestly, like the further I went along, the more dislike I had for the program till about my 4th year. My 4th year, I enjoyed it more, but I think that was just because I had a little bit more freedom and I already knew I was going to take a 5th year. And you figure out the system, you figure out what you need to do to pass. I wasn't trying to get good grades and I wasn't trying to excel because I really was disliking it. But I think when people ask me, why don't you switch in first year? I know I didn't switch because I was scared. I didn't think people did that, even finishing my first semester. It was so challenging because I knew I was so unhappy and I felt so lonely because I didn't have really any friends in the program, and I just didn't think anyone switched programs because that wasn't something that I had ever heard from years above me. Like I didn't have an older sibling, so I didn't have anyone to tell me that their friends were switching, and I didn't really ever hear of anyone either dropping out or switching programs or taking time off. That just like wasn't what happened in my town that I thought. And looking back at that now, that is so surprising, because I have so many people that I went to high school with that are no longer in university because they dropped out, or they're still in university because they switched programs, or X, Y, and Z. Half of my friends have ended up switching their programs or taking an extra semester, and I just wish that was something that was made aware to me. Even now, I talked about this a little bit in my Get Ready With Me, but I remember, so I'm not going to dive into every university struggle I've had in this video. That will probably come in an upcoming one, but I so remember that my program advisor, I had failed a couple courses here and there. I had been missing prerequisites because I'd failed some courses, and I was in a really weird limbo where the curriculum that I was in was the last year of it. So when you missed something, you had to wait a year for the year under you to give a reparable course that could be considered. So it wasn't just my fault that there was delays, but a big part of it was my fault because I wasn't passing all my courses. But that also goes down to the fact that I was so unmotivated and so unhappy that I just didn't care. But I remember my program advisor, I remember her calling me because I was on academic probation. I've been on academic probation multiple times, and I'll probably do a video all about that as well, just because it's something people don't really talk about because it's embarrassing, but your girl's been there. I can talk about it. But I'd been on academic probation, and I remember she called me because we had to discuss how my grades had gone from the end of the semester, and this was in the summertime, and I was living back with my parents. This was between my second and third year. And I was working at a print shop, and I was kind of unsure on that. I wasn't enjoying it, and that kind of also pushed the fact, like, oh God, I don't know if I hate my program because I'm working in the field and I dislike it. But rest assured, I know I'll find something I enjoy after, because I've now worked an internship that I did really enjoy that is kind of related. But I remember getting a phone call from her at 8 a.m. because we had to discuss what I was going to do because I was on probation and I was planning to take a summer course. And I remember her calling me and saying, the way your school is going right now, you have no option other than to take a 5th year. Like, I think that's what's best for you. You are on probation, you can't take overloaded courses, and I don't think it's smart of you to try to push yourself so far because you're barely passing the courses that you're taking now. And I just remember being so upset by this and trying not to let my voice crack on the phone. And I even feel a little teary-eyed talking about it now, which I don't know why I'm upset. I've really enjoyed my 5th year, and I think it was the best decision for me. But I remember being so upset, and it was like a quick 5-minute conversation, and then my mom was like, oh, what did Marietta say? And I had to tell her that I was going to have to take an extra semester. And I just remember that being so stressful because like my roommates would be graduating on time. I just felt like left out because my roommates and my best friends were graduating and I was just not. I knew I wouldn't be on time, and that was hard. And I remember telling my mom and like holding back tears, and I was okay. I told her really quick, and then I hopped in the car and she waved to me from the front door, and I was just like sitting in the car crying, trying to look kind of happy. And I remember I had a 25-minute drive to work and I cried the whole way there, which is awful because it feels so dangerous, and I was going into work puffy with my makeup ruined, but that's what happened. And now I look at that and I'm sad that I was so upset, but I think it was just because no one had told me that it's okay to take extra time. And the more people I talk to now, the more people I know that took an extra semester or switched programs or took a gap year because they didn't know what to do. And I don't think there's so many people I could name that have taken it at a different pace and a different path, and they have found something so much better for them than if they had rushed into it. So I think the whole point I'm trying to make with this video is you don't have to do it in 4 years, or you don't have to stick in something that's making you unhappy, especially when you're paying thousands of dollars. Like, it's not worth it. I think my big problem is, even looking back, I'm like, wow, I kind of wish I switched, but I also don't know what I would have switched into that would have made me more happy. And maybe I could have taken time off and experienced that, or tried a college credit, something. But I think in the end, life will work its way out. And I think it's okay to be upset and unsure about where the future will bring you, because that's life. But I think you also need to listen to yourself and make these plans based off how it will better you, and not to keep up with the timeline of everyone else, which is so much easier said than done, because it's so scary hearing that your best friends from high school are now getting engaged, or your friends from high school are now having kids, or people are saving for houses, or people own their cars, and people are all graduated and have full-time jobs. It's just so weird to know that you're in a different place than them at the same age. But I think that's one of the weirdest parts about growing up, is you get to that point where no one has a strict timeline anymore, because life works in mysterious ways. And I just really wish I had someone that was telling me this through my earlier years. It would have just made me feel so much better. I don't know if I would have listened, but at least I would have known I wasn't alone. And I think taking a 5th year was like my best decision. I took 7 courses this semester and it was brutal. But I think if I took 7 courses and my GCM courses, I would have hated my life. Like absolutely hated it, because this semester I took all electives, so it was things I was a little more interested in. Anyway, that's where I'm going to end this video off. I hope you've enjoyed kind of hearing my experience, and if you're struggling with this, I hope this was a little bit helpful. If you have any more content you want to see that's kind of similar to this or related to my university career, please let me know. And anyway, good luck studying. Good luck in whatever path life is bringing you. I promise it will turn out better than it feels right now. I mean, fingers crossed. Anyway, that's all for now. I will see you tomorrow and every day till Christmas. Happy Vlogmas.